I made this theory about Jigen's Doujutsu, which you should check out by the way, and in that video I made a theory where I stated that all the Otsutsuki members that were on the mural which Sasuke discovered in Boruto chapter 35 are dead. Now people found that outrageous because apparently Kaguya Otsutsuki is not dead, right? But I have good reasons as to why I say that, and the thing is, it has been said on multiple occasions that Kaguya Otsutsuki is basically dead. All you have to do is just do a few quick Google searches and you'll find out that the creators, the people in charge, Kishimoto, as well as Kodachi, the person who writes Boruto himself, have confirmed on multiple occasions that Kaguya Otsutsuki, in that state that she's in, is basically dead and she requires revival, right? So I'm going to talk about all of that and give you all the pieces of information as well as explain the logic behind Kaguya Otsutsuki's death. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe and hit the notification button because I do Boruto videos on a weekly basis. So let's start with this. First of all, Kaguya Otsutsuki claimed that she was immortal, right? And Madara absorbed Kaguya, absorbed the Jubi, and became the Jinchuriki of the Jubi, which is also known as absorbing Kaguya, right? So after absorbing Kaguya, Madara gained all the abilities of Kaguya Otsutsuki, meaning the Rine Sharingan, meaning her regenerative abilities, and this immortality that Kaguya claimed to have. And Madara himself claimed that he is immortal, right? So let's have a look at what type of immortality this is, because in fiction there are multiple types of immortality that people don't understand here. So after looking at the type of immortality that Kaguya Otsutsuki has, I found out that she has a type 3 immortality. A type 3 immortality is basically infinite regeneration. So Kaguya Otsutsuki, or Madara Uchiha, absorbing Kaguya, becoming the Jubi's Jinchuriki, can recover from any mortal wound that is inflicted upon him, and we have seen this when Sasuke chopped him in half, and when Might Guy beat him to a pulp and basically tore half of his body out of him with his ultimate attack. Madara Uchiha, the person who claimed to be immortal, the person who inherited Kaguya's immortality, said something interesting. He said to Guy that he was nervous because if Guy's final blow had landed on his head, he would have definitely been a goner. Now that is not something someone would say after they claimed that they were immortal, right? And that is exactly what type 3 immortality is. Just because you can regenerate from mortal wounds doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot die. It is not real immortality. It is just infinite regeneration or high-speed regeneration. That is what that type of immortality is. And there are other fictional characters who have this type of regeneration. For example, Zamasu from Dragon Ball Super. For those people that watch my channel, I know you watch Dragon Ball Super, and Zamasu wished to be immortal, and he gained a body which can always recover from any wound. He did feel pain and he could be hurt, but even Trunks himself said that your immortality is basically high-speed regeneration. So if I can destroy your body faster than it can regenerate, then you can die. And now I'm going to give you an insert from Boruto Naruto the movie, the novel, right? So the novels are there to add extra information that the movie does not supply, and this was actually written by Kodachi, the same person who is in charge of the Boruto manga and anime, the person who writes the story. He is the person that wrote this, and I quote, right from the novel translation, I quote, he said, "Kaguya had died. In this world, there wasn't such a thing as immortality." This is a quote out of the novel written by Kodachi himself, that Kaguya, number 1, had died, and number 2, in this world there wasn't such a thing as immortality. That is the first bit of confirmation I give you here. If you don't want to accept that, then that is really up to you, but I'm taking what Kodachi is saying as truth because he is the one that is in charge of writing the story. It is the universe he created, and if he says that those are the rules, then those are the rules. Now let's talk about Kaguya for a second. People think that the reason why Kaguya was sealed was because she was immortal, but that is completely false. The reason why Kaguya was sealed was not because she was immortal, it was because she was too powerful for Hagoromo and Hamura to kill, so using a seal on her was the only way. Now let's talk about the 6 paths Shibaku Tensei and what it actually does. So the power that Shibaku Tensei does 4 things, right? The first thing is it seals the Rine Sharingan to prevent the victim from using the Rine Sharingan to escape, right? Number 2 is it removes all the chakra from the victim's body. So the chakra that Kaguya has is not hers. In fact, she stole the chakra from Earth by using the tree to gather it into a fruit for her own consumption. Kaguya stole the chakra. It is not Kaguya's chakra. The tail beasts are chakra that belong on Earth. So Hagoromo stored that chakra in his body, right? And remember, extracting every single bit of chakra in a person's body kills the person. Kaguya got 100% of her chakra taken out of her body, and we know that taking all that chakra out of a person's body will kill them. So that is another piece of evidence that Kaguya Otsutsuki is dead. So now let's talk about what else happens simultaneously as the six-path Shibaku Tensei is invoked on a victim. So the third thing is the husk, right, of the Jubi. So the husk of the Jubi gets created using the yin and yang seal, and this was basically done to Kaguya's body, her remains, right? So Hagoromo used this same method to create the bodies for the tailed beast before putting the fruits chakra he took from Kaguya's body into the bodies that he created to bring the tailed beasts to life, right? So basically Kaguya's remains that was basically devoid of chakra was turned into the husk of the Jubi using the yang seal. Hagoromo can actually create something out of nothing in this using the creation of all things technique, which is basically the yin and yang seal that is used to create the six-path Shibaku Tensei. You see how Naruto touched Kakashi and created Kakashi's eye by using a piece of him. It's exactly the same thing that happened simultaneously using the six-path Shibaku Tensei. But this time, Hagoromo actually used that to turn Kaguya's dead body, or Kaguya's body in general, into the husk of the Jubi. In this case, a Gido statue, and statues are not alive, so that right there is enough proof that even by turning Kaguya's body into a statue alone is enough to kill the person. If someone used magic to turn you into a statue, they basically killed you because you're no longer a human being, you are made of stone, and unless someone uses magic again to undo what they've done, you are basically dead. That is the principle of being turned into a Gido statue. So now let's talk about step number 4 of what happens with the six-path Shibaku Tensei. So step number 4 is obviously it buries the husk of the Jubi into rocks and takes it into space where no one would reach, thus creating the moon. That is the explanation of what the six-path Shibaku Tensei does. So now let's talk about Black Zetsu, right? So number 1, the reason why Black Zetsu wanted to put the tail beasts into the husk is because he wanted to restore the chakra Kaguya stole from the earth back into her body. This process also brings Kaguya's consciousness back to life, which is basically the Jubi that was revived when Madara and Obito managed to do it, right? And step number 2 is he will then find a Jinchuriki for the Jubi, a body which he will sacrifice in order to resurrect Kaguya in the same way the Endo Tensei sacrifices a life in order to resurrect. Kaguya was not revived until Zetsu used some jutsus in exchange Madara's life for hers. If that was not a requirement, Kaguya would have been revived straight after Madara absorbed the Jubi or the tree, or Kaguya would have straight off been revived once the chakra was added to the Gido statue. And also Black Zetsu specifically used the word resurrect, and resurrection means bringing someone from death back to life, so therefore it also still proves that Kaguya is dead. There's no need to resurrect someone if they are not dead, right? And like it was said in the novel written by Kodachi himself, that Kaguya was basically dead, and that is proof from the official release of the novels that Kaguya Otsutsuki is dead. So now I will end this video by giving you the last piece of information or proof. So we know that the data books is actually given to us through Kishimoto. He is the one that adds the extra details about the data book, and the data books are created and distributed to us, right? If you look into the data books at Kinshiki and Momoshiki's entries, it specifically states that Kaguya Otsutsuki is dead, and I will read this to you, right? So it says the Otsutsuki clan descendant that seeks immortality granting pills. Along with Kishiki, Momoshiki is a relative of the Otsutsuki clan. After Kaguya's death, to obtain the power of eternal youth and immortality, he planned to obtain an elixir of life. That is all the proof that you need. This is both said in Momoshiki's entry and Kishiki's entry. Now, this was all approved by Kishimoto himself, so that is the proof that you have right there that Kaguya Otsutsuki is dead. Confirmation from Kishimoto and Kodachi, the person who wrote Boruto chapter 35 himself, that Kaguya Otsutsuki is dead. I think that is all the proof that you need, and that is basically why I said that Kaguya Otsutsuki was dead in my theory about Jigen's Doujutsu. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and do, and like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and let me know your thoughts if this has convinced you or not, or whether this is bullshit. Because when I read this myself, before accepting it, I had to scratch my head myself and wonder why that is. With that being said, I hope that this video was informative in some kind of way, and click on the left for my Jigen Doujutsu video, and click on the right for proof that Momoshiki most likely is still alive. With that being said, I have nothing more to say. Bye.